ChatGPT is basically optimizing language models for dialogue. So if you see here, it is trying to give you an example on how an AJAX call happens. Be the response. Now if you see, this is running on localhost 4200. It is my local application. It is ready to be deployed. Hello everyone, welcome back to the 5-Minute Tech channel. Today we will be talking about ChatGPT and how you can create an application based on the Open API, and that will essentially work just like any ChatGPT browser which you would be using. So before getting started with ChatGPT based application based on Angular and Express.js, it's important to understand what ChatGPT is and how it is being used right now. So let's go back to the browser. So what is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is basically optimizing language models for dialogue, and it is something which is helping you find quick answers to your questions based on certain AI models. So they have trained modeled this ChatGPT, which interacts in a conversational way, and the dialogue format makes it possible for ChatGPT to answer follow-up questions. So to start with, after you are done, you can just do a try ChatGPT, and this browser window will open. Here you can go ahead and try your question. For example, what is the capital of India? If I just type it here, it should return back giving me the answer as New Delhi. So now if I go to more expansive question, like for example, in our coding we need to do API call, so I'll probably go ahead and ask, can you give me the code for making JavaScript AJAX call? So if you see here, it is trying to give you an example on how an AJAX call happens, and it is trying to give you an HTML, XML, HTTP request, how you open a get API call, do a XHR send, and then you wait for the response. If it is done, if it is 200, how you will go ahead and do the response mapping and all those things. So this is a great way of understanding how a basic code would work. Now I can go one step ahead and try to ask for it to give me a test. So can you give me the test spec file for this? So it will go ahead and try to create how to create a test spec file for the AJAX function. So similarly, it will try to give you a full way of how you can do a unit test of this code. So this is how ChatGPT is interactive, and it is giving us response. So we'll get started with creating the application, which is based on Angular in the client side and the Express on the server side for a ChatGPT app. So we will start from the basics, from zero code. So if you see here, we are having a code folder, and we don't have anything else present in this folder. We'll go ahead and create a folder which we will name it as server. And then we will go back to the code level, the folder code level, open a terminal, which is a Visual Studio integrated terminal, and we will in the terminal add the code folder level, and we'll go ahead and create an Angular client application. We will use the ng-CLI, so ng new, and we'll name it as a ChatGPT client. So it will ask for certain options, whether you need routing. We'll give default yes, select this default CSS. So we have successfully created an Angular application through ng-CLI. Now you can see we have created all the basic components. We can see there is no new dependencies we have added yet, but we can go ahead and get started. So to get started, I have added some basic asset files, some of the SVGs which will be required by our application, and this will be available to you in the GitHub repository which I will be providing, along with the basic style sheet which will help our application look in the particular format. We will go ahead and run our npm start and check the application how it is looking right now. So as you see, the compilation is completed. We'll go ahead and launch the localhost 4200 in our browser. So if you see here right now, we are seeing a lot of this extra code. So we'll remove shape and then we go to the app component HTML and we will clean up all this code and we'll start putting in our divs and our models so that it is working as in the way it is designed to work. So we'll first add the div with a specific ID. Another enclosing div. Now this div will contain our CentOS mod area. We will put the template variable container and we will keep it together. Next is our form in which we will be submitting the data or our query, as you would have seen in the initial detail which I had given. This form again will have a template variable and then we will go ahead and add the text area, just a simple details. We'll name it as prompt and we'll probably add how many rows, columns we should have in the text area. Calls just one and we'll put a simple placeholder, ask GPT chat, simple placeholder. We'll close all these tags. We will add a submit button. Submit. We'll give an image to it. This image is something which I just talked about, that we have already got some of the assets from the website. Assets. And it will not be bought, it will be a send SVG. We'll close this. And that's pretty much about the app component. See, we already auto compiled it. Now moving on, we will move to the next file. Moving on to index.html, we'll restructure some code here. The first thing that we need to do is to correct and add the style sheet. So after our icon, we can do a style link rel is equal to style sheet. And that is our styles CSS. CSS, and that would do. Next we'll move on to the app component TS file, and here is the base. All the code we'll be writing here, all the functional code. To start with, we will have a load interval on which basis we will be loading that interval variable. Then we will next have the images, the bot image, which is something which comes at the top corner, so that we will add sets/bot SVG. We can do it other ways also. We don't need to specifically do it like this, but all I'm trying to do is to get it into a variable so that I can easily use the value of it. So user.svg, and next we have a form. And a container. Now these are some of the variables, the UI components that we will be using. We are trying to create some variables for that. You would need a constructor. Constructor will contain the element ref. And then we will write our specific methods. So our specific method will be to get first of all the elements, the UI elements. So I'll use ng after view init. Here I try to get the form data. Form data will be this dot element ref dot queries dot native element, and our query selector, and that will be our form. Then we will go ahead and add this events to this element. So let's go ahead and do that. So it's better if we do this way. This dot form dot add event listener. Add event listener, and we add the method to it, the event to it, and we give a method name which we will be writing now. Okay, this is not the handle submit is not there, we will be writing that. And also we will be doing is another, so we have a tendency to click on enter after we submit, so that also we can bind. So key up, and that will be our e of type any, and that will again be a method if it is a enter. So key code is 13 in that case. Again we'll call the same method. This dot handle submit. Okay. This expects lambda. Okay. Now we'll write the handle submit method. So handle submit. So we'll come to the handle submit in some time. First we have to handle some of the UI elements, like handling the 3 dots that appear on the UI. 3 dots when the bot is listening. Bot thinking kind of structure we have to implement. So for that we will use a method called loader, element any, it will be type any, and then we will do is element dot text content is equal to empty. Then we have this dot load interval, the interval which we have defined above is equal to set interval open close, then open again as a callback will have element dot text content is equal to plus equal to dot, and then we will have if the content is more than 3 dots, if element dot text content is 4 dots, then make it empty, and we go ahead and make it empty. I think I missed a bracket here. Element dot text content is equal to empty. Next we will try to replicate is the behavior in which when the bot is typing it goes one word at a time. So to show one word typing at a time by bot, for that we will write another method like type text. The type text method will again take element that is any type. We are giving any just for now because we do not need to worry about the type. Right now that is TypeScript, basically you have to provide the type, otherwise it will keep giving you warning in the lint. So we're just keeping it as empty. So index, define the index variable and the interval. Again we will do the same thing which we did in previous method, set interval and the expression if the index is less than the text which we have received as a response, then what we will do is we will alter the inner HTML and append the text dot char at index and increment the index, and we will do is else condition of this, which is clear the interval. Now this clear interval will be of the same variable, that is interval, and we will provide apps of around 20. So that is about this method. Next is our we will be generating a unique ID, and that will uniquely identify the request which ID will be assigning a value to it, so that will be unique ID. So let's write a method for that, generate unique ID, and that would be we take 3 variables to get an absolute unique value, timestamp equal to date.now, and that will give you the current date, and this date should be capital, constant. Again we need a variable or a number, probably, yeah, math.random. Then we need another constant which is like a hexadecimal, and rn number dot toString. We provide the 16, and we will expect this to return us the absolute value. So let's do that. id hyphen $timestamp, and then we will have the dollar hex, right? Okay, so this will generate the unique number, and this will be used in a subsequent method which is we're using for the calculation. The next method is the UI stripes. You would be seeing one dark and one light and one then dark, the response from the bot and the question which we asked. So for that we'll be doing stripes. So color variation of gray for bot and user to distinguish that. For that we will be using this. So stripes, just declare some variables here. So there will be 3 variables here. One for the AI, the bot, the value which you provide, and the unique ID which will uniquely identify the particular entry. So unique ID, again we are just putting a default type of any, and this will return you this will return the divs, corresponding divs. So I'm writing it into this so it is a wrapper. See, this is a class, CSS class wrapper, and then we have, which we have already put in the styles, and then we are putting our AI, it is AI and AI, and then we will move on to the closing the div. Go on to close the div. Next div is chat div. Div class is equal to chat. Double inverted commas. Chat. And the next line will define another div. This div will have our profile class name, it is profile, and we'll close this div, profile, and then we will have the image, src is equal to, this is mainly for the look and feel. You may want to ignore it if you do not want to focus on the UI look and feel, but this is good if you want to replicate what you see in the actual GPT site. So we will go ahead and do this. ID is equal to, and the ID would be, actually we can escape the ID, but we can directly get into the the proper source. So source was not message. Source is equal to AI this dot bot, or on condition basis this dot user. This will determine the UI structuring. the UI pattern which you will be seeing on the screen. So that's about that one. And in the next div where value comes, there it will be div class is equal to message class, and then the ID, which is dollar unique ID, the ID which we have above, and then the dollar value. Okay, so that's about that one. Now we will move on to the main method, which is our handle submit, and this will have the main implementation. Okay, so handle submit will be a sync call. So it is a sync. It will take element any, it will have the expression, and we will start writing now. We prevent the basic, the default, prevent default, and then we will have declare some variables, for example const data. Yeah, this will have the data, new form data, and this will be our form, this dot form. This could be undefined, so we will just keep it undefined. And now we will write about user stripes. Now in user stripes we will have, just check the condition. If this dot container is not equal to null, if our container is not null, I don't know why I keep doing this and keep getting, if the container is not null, this dot container dot inner HTML plus equal to this dot stripe methods, which we have just defined above, and it will be passing a value of some unique ID and stuff like that. Data dot get, that would be our prompt. The prompt is the place where we are giving the input, and the null for unique ID. Now we will define the bot stripes. So in the bot stripes we will do get the unique ID, unique ID equal to this dot generate unique ID close, and check if the container is empty. Yes, the container is not equal to null, and then we will go ahead and put in our code. Dot container dot inner HTML plus equal to what is being returned from the server, stripes. This time it is true because it is returned by the bot. We will give some space here, and we will provide the unique ID. Okay, next is our this dot, this is just to scroll top, scroll top is equal to this dot container dot scroll height, could be null, so let's do this. Next is our message div, so we will get that control now. So constant message div is equal to document dot we are using native way of getting the element. There are more advanced way of getting it, especially in Angular. So this is just one method, simple method JavaScript which we are using. You can use better ways of getting the method. So yeah, it's open to imagination. This dot loader we will do is load the message div. Next is what we will do is the basic, the most important one, which is fetch the data from server. Now this will be captured in our object, so let's name it const response is equal to await, and we will just put something right now, but we will come back to it. It's empty right now, but assuming this is our server URL and we are doing this, so we will provide like a method which is post next is headers, which will be our content type, and that will be application JSON, application / JSON, and then we have, after header we have body JSON.stringify prompt data.get count, and then we will have our clear interval. This will use the load interval, this dot load interval. This is the response capturing we are doing. If message div not equal to null, we are checking whether it is not null, then we go ahead and first clear it off. Followed by that, if we have got the response, the next condition could be if response we have received dot OK, then if it is coming back as OK, we will capture the data first. Data is equal to await the response response.json. After we await the response, we do is parse it. So like a parsed data is equal to data dot what dot trim. So we just trim it, and then we do is this dot type text. The text typing which we have defined above, will pass the message div where it has to be typed and the parsed data. So that's about it. If the response is a problem, it has a problem, then we define const error is equal to await response dot text not, then we will provide message tag inner HTML to something went wrong. And we will provide the alert with the error, actual error, so that we know what's happening if it doesn't work. So I think that's pretty much from this UI side changes. We can go ahead and check our application now. So our application is launching at 4200. There isn't any console error, but right now, as you see, even if I type anything, it is just going. It's not registering anywhere. So there is one mistake which we need to correct. We have to put the loader with a. We'll relaunch it, and we will do hello. This is our final client-side code. We have defined the main method, which is there is handle submit, which has all the basic functionalities. We will be filling in the API code here. So right now our application looks. Let us refresh this, and if you type something hello, and it is returning us an error because we have not put in the URL. So we are done with the client-side implementation. Now we'll move on to the server folder and create the server-side implementation using Express. For that, I've opened another terminal here. I will navigate to the server folder. So cd dot first to come out of it, and then cd server. Clear this off. Now we'll first initialize this server folder with the basic package JSON. So we will do npm init -y. This will create the package JSON, and then we will go ahead and install the dependencies, which is course.env, Express, Nodemon, and OpenAI. So let's do that. Npm install course, then we have .env space, and then we have Express, Nodemon for loading our application, and OpenAI. We let this install. So we have successfully installed all these packages. We can go ahead and check that in our Nodemon in the package JSON folder. We will alter the scripts. We do not need test right now. We'll probably do is a server. We'll remove this and do a server, and we'll put in the command line, which is our Nodemon space server. We will save this. We will not be using index.js file. Probably we'll just add a simple server.js file, and that should be sufficient for us. So we'll go ahead and add that, which is a server.js file. We'll go ahead and remove this. Save this one, and we'll go ahead and write the basic implementation server.js file. To start with, we will import the Express. Import Express from Express. So that's one thing done. Then next is our .env. We do not need .env, but let's go ahead and do it. Probably if we need to add the environment file from .env. Next, what we will do is we will put the course. Let's maybe import the course Next is our import from OpenAI. So we will get configuration and OpenAI API. OpenAI API. Okay. We will be so what we need to do is to add some environment values. So we will do that at a later point of time. For now, we will go ahead and do the .env.config. Next is our basic configuration for our OpenAI, which is const configuration is equal to new configuration, and here we will pass the keys and all, which we will get it from the OpenAI portal. We will come to it later. Now we will create the object. OpenAI is equal to new OpenAI, which we have imported above. We pass this configuration. Then we will define our app. App is equal to Express. This is our server, app.use, and that is our course. And then we will move on to app.use Express.js. So this is the basic code. Now there will be two calls, app.get and post. So for get, this is a basic call. The main will be our post call. So request, response, basic stuff, and we will be doing this one. We'll pass on, we'll get the status, which is, if it is 200, we will do a send, and that will be a message. Just saying this hello will be there. Yeah. So this is about the get call. Now let's do the post call. App.post, and in this one we will do the same basic stuff. Sync, response, and here we will try catch. Start with our prompt. So let's take it in a variable const prompt is equal to our body, this dot body of the HTTP request, and you take the prompt object, and we will do a response is equal to await. Now for this we will have to go to the OpenAI website and take the code from there. So let's do that. So let's go to the OpenAI website. So we will come to the OpenAI, go to API. You may need to log in. Now once you log in, you may go to the examples and type here code natural language to open API, and here you can see, you can probably go ahead and check the code here. You can open the Node.js and you should be able to see how you can do it. So we'll copy this code, put it here. We do not need this prompt. Our prompt will be the dollar prompt which we have created above. So let's do that prompt, and you can see different models. We will be targeting the text DaVinci 3 model. So let's take that, view code, text DaVinci 3. The reason why I'm taking this is because this is for both code as well as the other language purposes, so that is why I'm taking this one. So let's come back here and put it here. Hopefully I have copied it correctly. Let me copy this again just in case I have not put it properly here. So let me do that, and that should be good. And the max token is 3000. Let's save this. Now moving on, this is the response object, and when we go ahead and do the response dot status 200 dot send, and then we will do is we'll put it inside this bot dot response dot is response dot data dot choices of 0 dot text. This will be the response text. In case we get an error which is in the catch, we will be returning the required. We'll do a console log. So let's do the console log first. So log of error, and also do a response dot status 500. Let's read it and then send the error. Send the error. And let's close this one. And one more thing we have to do is we have to do app.listen. Listen the time, and we have to do anonymous console.log server is up. This is just to notify that we are up. Close this. Yeah, so that's pretty much. The one thing which is pending is adding the configuration, and we will be doing that now. For the configuration, you will have to come to OpenAPI references, and you can get the details from here. You can just copy the configuration for Node.js, whatever is required. OpenAPI key you have to provide. So first we'll copy this one and put it here, and we have to put the OpenAPI key, so which we can get from our view API keys, and we can do is to remove these APIs, create a new key, copy this key here and paste that key here. So let's do that, and let's save this, and we will go ahead and do a npm run. I think it was server, yeah, npm run server, and that should run our application. We ran into an error, import outside a module. Okay. Here we have missed to add type, and it is module. It is important to add, so we will add module here, and then we should be able to run it. Run server. Okay, Express is not defined. Here we have done some mistake in Express.js. Okay, so we have allowed the access as well. Now let's this is running on our 5000 port, so let's run it and see. Just 5000, and here it is. Hello there. So our server is up. Now we have to go ahead and put our URL into our client side code, and then we will see how it works. So let's go ahead and update our component ts file. Let's put this here, save this line. Okay, now we will go ahead and test our application. So we'll refresh the application now, and let's do a hello. Hello, and as you see, we are getting a response back from the server, which is a ChatGPT. Now let's do a similar, like, can you tell me the capital of India? You should be able to get the response. Is New Delhi. Can you give me the Ajax JavaScript code? Ajax call. I'll do Ajax call. And if you see here, it is going to give you the code which we use to do a Ajax call. So this is a simple code which will be can be used. Yeah. So if you see here, it is giving me the response. Now if you see, this is running on localhost 4200. It is my local application. It is ready to be deployed. So you can put this in the Docker, both the client side and the server side code, and you will be. So this is all about creating a ChatGPT app in your from the OpenAI APIs. And as you see, this is a local running application which could be deployed anywhere. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Have a nice day.